Knowing your own style as a musician, knowing your own style, or have you even tried to figure it out yet? Or are you too busy trying to play like somebody else? That's a good question, and a big shout out to my man David Jones on this video. Love that question. Because as musicians, we should all be studying, practicing hard. I tell anybody in a minute, man, how you gonna call yourself any musician if you never practice, period? You can't just get on the instrument every blue moon. You gotta stay on top of it. And if you don't ever figure out your own style, see, first of all, music is about being creative in the first place, and it comes from the heart. Just like I tell any singer, you gotta sing, you gotta feel what you're singing. Because if you can't feel it, you're not gonna be able to sing it. Same way with playing. Now you got so many different types of piano players right now. Like I was saying in the old video, some people don't play the organ, they play the piano and the keyboards. And then some just play the organ and that's it. That's why you got organists. And then you have pianists. And then you got to establish your style. Even on the organ, everybody don't use the foot pedals on the organ. Some organists, they just use they might play chords on the top set of keys and play the bass line on the bottom set of keys. Because a lot of people don't use the foot pedal. Then you got people that just run all over the place. All they care about is runs. You know, me, I'm more of a carder. I like cards. But I know brothers that just like to run and sisters that just like to run all up and down the place, you know. And then you got some that can do all three. They card with the right and the left and they run the bass lines on the foot pedal. And then when you flip that over and you get on the keyboard, you look at the keyboard, you got people that love to run the bass line like on the keyboard. Like me, I used to always have to run the bass line all the time. I'm still trying to get out of the habit of running the bass line when my little brother's on the bass, because that handicapped me for a long time. But I'm getting better and better, you know, because I'm like you, Mitty, man. I didn't have no choice though but to run bass lines for years. And I still have to run bass lines. It's like you have to always challenge yourself. You got to stay updated. That's why I tell any keyboard player, even though you know so many chords, you still need to remember how to run the bass line. Because there are going to be times you're not going to have no bass player. It's the same way when you look at preachers. You got preachers that teach, and then you got preachers that hoop and holler. You know, that's their style, to hoop and holler. And then the ones that don't hoop and holler, they just teach. They remind me of Peter and Paul in the Bible, because you didn't really hear about this hooping and hollering thing till it started getting so religious, and especially Baptists. You got people that'll sing a sermon. Some of them don't be talking about nothing. But then some of them can really get into the word, then hoop and holler, and it makes sense. Me, I'm more of a guy that like to listen at teaching. Because sometimes I can't hear what's going on with all the hooping and hollering then, and a lot of the hooping and hollering, they just saying the same stuff over and over again. It's kind of like the piano. If you just practice one key, you're going to forever be playing those same chords over and over again. See, preaching and playing the piano is so much alike, because preachers got to stay updated on that word at all times. Sometimes you got to be ready to preach if somebody don't show up. And it's just like the piano. You got to stay on your game. You got to always be prepared, because you don't know what's going to come your way when you learn that piano. You got to be ready. Be prepared. Bible teaches us to always stay ready. And if you don't stay ready, what good are you going to be? I tell the musician in a minute, if you learn that key, jump to the next one. Same thing you did in that key, go all the way down all 12. That's why laziness is tearing up a lot. So those are different types of musicians you got. Just like bass players. Look at bass players. You got some bass players so smooth, they stay in the pocket and run that bass line. Then you got those bass players that just chord all over the place. They always, they always hitting and messing up the piano player. And then on top of that, they got a lead guitar player. All three of y'all chord. You got the bass player that's just so nasty. He thump. he thumps so much that it destroys the song. Now there's a time to do all of this stuff. I'm not knocking nobody. It's all about being disciplined. And then you look at the lead guitar. You got some people that'll chop up, man, that lead guitar. Oh man, they dynamic. And then you got the ones that just run all over the place. Same with a horn player. I love to see people stay in the melody lines. Then you got these ones that just, I know some saxophone players, they just solo through everything. They'll destroy a singer. See, if you don't learn how to work together, what are you doing it for? It's hard to keep a band together, period. Very hard. I can't tell you how many bands I done went through, how many people we done went through. It's not no joke. Trying to keep a band together is like trying to keep a good woman, man. Sometimes you can do all you can and they still gonna do you any kind of way. That's why I stay humble. I study. The key word is studying and practice. That's why I tell people when they ask me, I tell them, my opinion, practice don't make me perfect. I'm just talking from, this is for me. Practice don't make me perfect. It makes me better. Because I've been practicing all my life and still ain't perfect on the piano. I still have flaws. I still can't get my left hand to do with some of my right chords. I can do with my hand, chords in my right hand. Because this was my weakness. That's why I know what my weakness is and I work on it. Just like drummers. You got these drummers that beat loud as hell. You can't hear nothing but them. Then you got them drummers that know how to stay in the pocket. They know when the rim shot. They know when to stop all the doubling up. They know how to keep timing and tempo, like we were saying in the old video. See, this is the different types of musicians I'm talking about in here. Even singers. You got some singers that ain't never learned how to sing soft. They sing hard all the time and be killing their voice. Killing it. Then half of them smoke anyway. They singing so hard that they wondering why they can't sing no more. So you don't always got to sing hard. Just like you ain't always got to play loud. There's a time for everything in music. Just like Ecclesiastes teaches us, there's a time and a season for everything under the heavens. There's a time for everything in music. You don't solo through Amazing Grace and messing it up. You messing up Father, I stretch my hands to thee. You messing up near the cross. You ripping on the drums. See, you got to learn how to be a musician. That's why I say every musician need to be in this word anyway. This will keep you humble. This will keep you disciplined. This will keep you loving your brothers and your sisters. What kind of musician are you? See, I learned to just do my part. Here's the thing, you can only do your part. You can't do nobody else's part for them. And that's what frustrates you as a musician. Because like when we produce, we got to do everything. But I'm doing my part. God, one thing I tell God, you ain't got to worry about holding me accountable for not doing my part. That's why we get frustrated, because we want everybody to be on one accord. That's why you can't play with everybody. So what kind of musician are you? It's different styles, different types. All over the world, there are some dynamic musicians, humble. But the thing I hate, it's not too many that's getting along these days. It's not. And it's a sad thing. Because I look at it like this. Everybody be talking about when we get to heaven, I'm going to be praising all day long, and I'm going to be shouting, and I'm going to be playing with all the musicians. Well, how you going to play with all the musicians in heaven if you can't even play with each other on earth? Which is heaven going to be on earth anyway. The new heaven on earth, which people don't understand. How you going to play in heaven and you can't even get along with the person you play with every Sunday? I know I just made about 5 people mad with that. And that's real talk. How can I say I'm going to play all day and I can't even sit down and play the keyboard with my boy Midi Man? I'm hating on Midi Man. He won't show me this. He won't show me that. Midi Man will pour his heart out to anybody. Midi Man will tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing right here. See, that's what I love, the respect, like I was saying in the other video. Different types of musicians. Learn your craft. That's why when I talk about transposing, I mean that in a good way. That's why I did about 4 videos on transposing, because I told you in the other video, there are people that are handicapped and don't even have all their fingers, and they still play. And they don't even try to transpose. Y'all think I'm lying when I say it. I got some homies like that, man. Some homies. Because you don't want to do nothing for God. One dude said, you talking about I'm transposing, I'm going to hell. I don't know where he got that from. That never came out of my mouth. It's amazing how people put words in your mouth. Transposing ain't got nothing to do with you going to hell. Why? Because piano don't have nothing to do with you going to heaven. You can play the piano transpose all you want, learn all 12 keys all you want. Piano ain't gonna get you into heaven. No, it ain't got nothing to do with getting you into heaven. You better wake up and read the Bible on what gets you into heaven. But I just had to come back and hit on this video, man. I thank God for everybody, because we as musicians need to learn how to play together. The different types of musicians. And if you never learn your own creativity, you're gonna have problems. That's why I told y'all in the old video, I don't sit down and play the song all the way through like the artist that created the song. That's not me. I use my creation, because I'm not them people on the CD. Now I do start off the song and give the artist credit, and then after that I'm gonna play it my way, because if I can't feel my way, I might as well close the keyboard up. God bless you. Love everybody.